Hey everybody, it's Janae, aka the Mobile Monger again, and I have Reggie Jones from Central Coast Creamery out of California. So, hi Reggie. Why don't you tell me a little bit about Central Coast and about you?
Okay, Central Coast Creamery, we founded the company in 2008, myself and my wife Kelly. We first started production in Oakdale at Oakdale Cheese with their equipment. We did that for the first about 5 years until we built our own facility starting in 2012 in Paso Robles. So we've been in Paso Robles since then. My background before this is previous 12 years, I worked for Chris Hansen, the bacteria culture company, running their sales and technical service teams in the Western US and Canada, basically just troubleshooting cheese problems. And before that, I did work in plant management in larger cheese factories. So about 12 years with Dairy Farmers of America, Suprema Specialties, Turlock Cheese Association, doing product and process development, quality control, a variety of different roles. So this is my, I think, 30th year being involved with cheese in some way or another.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you always want to get into production, or was this
I
kind of
always
a,
wanted to have our own facility. I saw very early on that like the mid-sized cheesemakers just weren't making it. The ones trying to make commodity style cheeses at not the same like volumes as the bigger guys. And then the big guys were making it on very low margins, and you had to be on the smaller side to actually make it as well. So we kind of targeted like this more industrial style cheeses at an artisan level. Wanted something that would be very robust in the distribution chain. That's what we really started with, and then we started going to some of the softer cheeses in the last couple of years.
sweet? So, do you want to tell me a little bit about the cheeses that you make?
Sure, we make cheese from goats, cow, and sheep. We do not have any of our own animals. We source our milk from single dairies. So all of our cow milk comes from. Let me close this door real fast. Boys being loud. Um, so we get all of our cow milk from Cuyama Dairy, which is the last dairy in Santa Barbara County. All of our goat milk comes from the David Vera Dairy at Hanford, and all of our sheep milk comes from Postma Sheep Dairy in Dale, California.
How many
So,
varieties of cheese do you make? Like, what would you say are like the average styles that you tend to do?
so we do, as far as goat milk cheeses, we do goat Gouda, goat cheddar, and we also do Dreamweaver and Fresh Chev. Um, Mixed milk, we do Seascape, which is a blend of goat and cow, more like a cheddar style cheese, but with two milks. Cow milk, we do Holy Cow, um, Big Rock Blue, and is that it? Oh, I think so. And then sheep milk, we do Unique and Eureka.
Okay, nice. So, pre-COVID, what did your business model look like? Were you widely distributed? Do you sell direct mostly to independent cheese shops? Did you have an online platform? What did that look like?
So before this all went down, we had probably so we had distribution all in the Western U.S. and then Chicago and New York. Um, Probably 98% of what we do or did was through distributors. Not very much at all direct shipping to any place. We do cut and wrap, so were able to do pre-cut wedges. So we were fortunate enough to have that already set up going into this, because really what happened is that we just saw an immediate turn to the supermarkets, or people didn't want to cut cheese, and so that really is about 50% of our business now, where it was like 2% before.
Wow.
So it really is a strange pivot that happened very quickly, but at least we were able to sell cheese that way.
Yeah, I mean, at least you were already set up for that, because I know that that's been a conversation that I've been having with a lot of people that, don't have that already in line. So, yeah.
Right.
So what would you say, like, besides the cut and wrap, are there any other changes that you've seen now since
Well,
COVID has taken place?
we launched our online store like 2 weeks prior to COVID, like taking place. It was something we wanted to do, and just the timing actually was really good. We were lucky just to get it launched, because we did see a lot of online orders come through, which has helped also. I mean, we're nowhere near where we were before. The last couple of weeks we were running around 50% of pre-COVID levels. So as far as sales, we have ramped back up our production starting next week to about 75% of, because we want to build some inventory now. But I don't see us being at 100% anytime soon.
Yeah. Have you had to like lay off any employees through this, or how has that affected is there any effect in your business in that respect?
Yeah, immediately. So we have a store in Santa Cruz, a retail store. It's in a marketplace. That one had to shut down. They closed the doors on the marketplace. So those employees we had to lay off. Here at the production facility, we had 7 full-timers and 2 part-timers. We laid off everybody but 3 for the first week. The second week we brought 1 back, made us 4. Last week we brought 2 more back, made us 6, and we're bringing the 7th one back next week. So
Awesome.
yeah, so we did actually receive the payroll protection plan money today. So that's why we're really ramping back up. We'll go for the next 8 weeks and see where we stand.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great thing. I'm glad that you guys were able to get that. Have you guys employed any other strategies to sell through some of the cheeses that you have, like working with CSAs or anything
Yeah.
like that?
Well, I immediately knew that the softer cheeses were going to be a problem, and we scrambled pretty quickly to try to move as much of that product as we could. For us, Dreamweaver is our softest product, and fresh Chev. Lucky for us, we didn't have a lot of Chev on hand, and we were able to sell through all that very quickly. The Dreamweaver, we still actually have cases of Dreamweaver. We had 75 cases of it sitting in our warehouse when this happened. We have 12 left now, so we're in pretty good shape there. We got a couple of wineries that actually had us take and cut the Dreamweaver into quarters and actually seal it, and they sent it out with some wine shipments. So that's been really good. We had 2 that did that. We also had another one that did a few other cheeses, and we have a couple more shipments going out next week of wedges. Like a couple of different wineries have taken over 1,000 wedges of cheese for their wine shipments.
That's amazing.
We have like 300 wineries right here in Paso Robles, so there's some opportunities there. Unfortunately for my daughter, her brand, we were going to launch that mid-March. So we had, what did we have? We had 75 cases of Leo Blooming Rind sheep milk cheese that were sitting on a pallet. And of course, nobody was going to take it. Thankfully, we got one of the produce, well, actually, Imperfect Foods took quarter wheels. We cut it all into quarters. They took it all. So we were able to move it out that way.
Wow. So can you tell me about Avery's project and a little bit about that too, since that's an interesting thing to note?
Yeah, so Shooting Star Creamery, the first cheese she made was Aries, and of course it won 3rd best in show at the ACS. And we do actually have some wheels right now. We have a few distributors that have a few wheels, and not many. Smallest Bay Foods has some wheels, and we actually have 18 left here. We started making it again in February of this year, so you won't see it again until around November. But by November there'll be plenty, because we didn't stop taking sheep milk.
Yeah.
Once everything gets back to normal, there's a few other cheeses that I already can. Leo, like I said, the Blooming Rind sheep milk cheese. Scorpio, a washed rind sheep milk cheese of about 1.5 pounds. And then there's another one that's called Sagittarius. That's half sheep, half cow, like a tome style cheese. So
I think it's worthy to note to people who may not know how old she is in doing this whole other brand. So you want to tell me how old she is and she's started her own brand?
she's 16 now. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because she actually has time to come down here now with, online learning. So she does that most of the day and then comes down for a couple hours each day and helps out over here. But she was pretty bummed over the whole thing.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that's pretty sad. that she was
Yeah.
just getting going. And I mean, to win third in best in show, like kind of on your first showing, is huge. That's a big accomplishment, especially for a
Oh,
16-year-old.
I've never won third best in shows. Mm,
She just was trying to show you up. It's fine.
that's true. Whatever.
Well, she's learned from the best. So I mean, she's got to
Well,
take that energy somewhere.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that she's learned a lot. I mean, she has a lot to learn. Obviously, on the bacteria culture side, I'm going to be one coaching that part of the equation. So, with my background, I've seen a lot of different cultures use a lot of different ways and a lot of different cheeses and what the effect of those cultures are. So we can kind of like get a plan together pretty easily and come up with something fairly close to what you're looking for on the first try, and then do some fine tuning from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So is this affecting your affinage practices at all? Do you guys are you feeling any sort of like your caves are getting a little too tight right now, or
No, I think that so a lot of our cheeses we age out to a certain level, and then we will package them and put them in refrigeration. So I foresee our refrigerators probably getting full. Our aging rooms are built for a certain amount of volume, and we're not going to be running that volume. It's just that we'll probably be longer on inventory in the refrigerators.
so you suspended making for a short time.
Hmm.
Yes. So do you
We not
know
on the
what?
sheep milk. The sheep milk we didn't. So we suspended goat and cow milk
Okay.
immediately. Um, the cow milk, there was places because we buy through Dairy Farmers of America, so it's a cooperative, and there was other places for that milk to go. Unfortunately, a lot of it I think went on the ground, and, but we weren't required to take that milk. And then on the goat milk, there was also places for that to go. It'd be Meyenberg took most of that goat milk and has made it into powder.
Okay.
Um, but for the sheep milk, there was no place for that to go. If we stopped taking sheep milk, um, they would dry off the animals, and then we would be done for the season. So luckily for us, we have a really good working relationship with our producer, and he's diversified in the fact that he has 3 cow milk dairies also. So we kind of have a deal worked out with him. He knows that we're not selling any cheese, and so we're not selling any sheep milk cheese right now. Like that's the last thing that people are going to buy. But we'll keep converting the milk into cheese, and once we're through this, then we'll start paying them. So we're not even paying for the sheep milk. We basically are looking at a shared inventory situation where it's just being sitting on the shelves and aging out.
I think that the theme for most of my conversations have been that collaboration is the biggest piece of everybody making it right now. So that's good to hear
Right,
that you guys are on the same page in that.
for sure.
So let's talk about the buying patterns. Like we're starting to get into this sort of like newish normal. Have you seen anything outside of like the cut and wrap section being like really big? Has your mail order gotten out of control too? And
So the online sales have been pretty good, but I foresee them starting to drop off over the next couple of weeks. Um, I think the panic is over as far as buying panic, and I can just see that there's still product out there that's distressed that people are, putting on the market that's taking place or taking precedent over other material that needs to go out. So, I think that's going to continue still for the next month or so. And who knows how much stuff was actually on the water coming over from overseas before this happened. So, you're probably looking at that. That's a 6-week pattern to get it here, and then you're looking at another 4 weeks past that to move that material. And probably you're not going to have a lot of stuff that's coming in that 6 to 10 week period again. So maybe there'll be like a big hole in the market, like in 6 weeks or so from now.
yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens for sure.
Yeah, I've talked about possibly doing this series again in a year just to kind of see like what the conversations, like how the chips kind of fell for everything. Cause I mean, it's been like one day we're good and the next day everything's changed.
Yeah, I think it's just been for us, like we've tried to take the long-term outlook and focus on that. Like we're looking at like where we need to see our business like in a year from now. Maybe there's some things that we need to do differently, and maybe there's some equipment we need to invest in to be more efficient. I purchased another packaging machine today, so we're investing in the business now, and I think that, for us, where we see is that we need to be able to do exact weight wedges of product and for supermarkets. And some of our products will fit really well into supermarkets, like goat Gouda, goat cheddar, and very self-explanatory what they are. And they can, if we cut them into exact weight wedges, they can go into the specialty section really easily.
Yeah. Um, has this affected other plans for types of cheese that you might want to make? Has it changed your ideas of what you're making now that you maybe might pull back on a little bit?
Yeah, I think, like I said, we weren't making a lot of soft cheeses. We'll continue to make Dreamweaver and Chev for the local markets. But I don't see, we may end up not making blue cheese in the future.
Interesting.
So we
Yeah.
don't sell a lot of blue anyway. We don't really push selling blue, but it might be a good transition out of that product line.
Well, I'm just going to tell everybody that I've had a bunch of Central Coast cheeses in my refrigerator for the last month for quarantine because I was doing a bunch of demos for you guys before this all kind of came down. But it's been funny because my husband has really been enjoying the Dreamweaver, but he can't remember the name of it. He just calls it that delicious squidgy cheese. So I'm like, okay, I know what you're talking about. The delicious squidgy cheese, that's Dreamweaver.
You just got to sing the song, right?
That actually might work for him because he's a musician. It might actually
Yeah.
finally like stick in his brain, but he's been definitely enjoying a whole lot of that lately. So
well, that's good. I'm glad that you guys are at least consuming it.
Yes, it's definitely been eaten and given away to plenty of people too.
Perfect.
Has this given you any time to work on any new projects, or have you just been in kind of survival mode at this point?
I would say the first 3-4 weeks, because we were short on staff and we still had cheese to take care of, I was packaging and doing duties inside the plant that I didn't normally do. But since we brought most of the people back now, then we are working on other projects. I'm working on some automation on our boiler and also some additional cooling capacity. So those projects have now, like, they might not have gotten done for 6 to 12 months, but now they're going to get done like this month. So we're just trying to, keep busy and like I said, look at the future.
Yeah. So let's say I'm a person starting a cheese business right now. What recommendations would you have that I just need to put in my business plan, things that I need to be thinking about, like, for sure?
Yeah. I think that I've always been trying. We have that Cal Poly short course here every year, just down the road, 20 miles. That Farmstead cheesemaking course or whatever it's called, and then we always get a bunch of people coming and visiting afterwards and asking a bunch of questions. And I really feel that it's this business is very tough. That you saw that ACS study where it was like 60% of the cheesemakers were not making any money at all, and you have to be a certain size. If you want it to be a business, it has to be a certain size. I don't think you can get by getting a 100-gallon cheese vat and making 100-gallon batches. I just don't think you're going to make any money ever. I think you have to be making 500-gallon batches. I think that's the minimum size you need to be.
Interesting. Is that the size, just to kind of give clarification for people, like how big of vats do you guys use? Like, what does your size structure look like?
So the way that we work is we bring in cow milk on Sunday. We make 4 batches of cow milk cheese, 500-gallon batches, over Monday and Tuesday, and then we make also a sheep milk batch during those 2 days as well. So we have 2 500-gallon vats and a 200-gallon vat, so we can make 1,200 gallons a day is what we can make. And before COVID, we were making running Monday through Thursday, at least 1,000 to 1,200 gallons a day, and then on Friday we were doing 500 gallons. So we didn't make cheese on Saturday or Sunday.
Good for you. It's nice to not have a 7-day a week.
We want the place to be a good place to work.
Yes.
Even though, like, even when we laid off like any of our employees, we offer full medical and dental and vision for our full timers, and we pay 100% of it, and we're still paying those benefits to even the ones that are from Santa Cruz that got laid off.
That's amazing. And hard to do.
Hard to do.
Yeah, when you're not bringing in the money.
Right.
So kind of one big last question is, how can mongers, shop owners, distributors, how can they collaborate with you right now to get some of that cheese out of the caves and into people's mouths? What can we do to help you?
I would say, I more than ever, like, buy local, like, just buy your local cheesemakers cheeses. When you are shopping the case, don't buy imported products right now. Buy the people that need it the most that are here.
And this comes on the first day of American Cheese Month. So I feel like that just kind of fits right in with that. Because, as Mateo has said on numerous occasions, if you don't choose it, you're going to lose it. So, yeah.
Definitely.
So is there anything else that you feel like we maybe didn't touch on that you just really want to make a point about?
Not that I know of. We're hanging in there. I mean, we're committed to being around after this is over. And I don't know how that's going to shake out for some of the other ones. I feel bad for, like, especially the farmsteaders who have the animals. For us, we're fortunate that we don't have animals. And people that have animals and making soft cheese are even worse. It's just not possible to switch over to aged cheese, and when you don't have a place to age it.
Yeah, that's definitely been in conversation with a few different people. It's a hard transition. And yeah, well, I just want to appreciate you, and thanks for coming and chatting with me today.